Good evening and welcome to 10-Minute Travel Tuesday. Coming up today with George and Deanna, we're sharing our top 3 travel tips to help you feel more confident about your first international trip. So if you're new to traveling with a group or you just want to make your adventure smoother, then all you have to do is stay tuned with us. Thank you for joining us tonight. Every Tuesday night, we do Travel Tuesday where we share a little information we hope that can be helpful to you.
Yes, or not helpful.
I'm George, by the way. That's Deanna, Lindsey, and that's where the Lindsey Adventures comes
Yes.
in. Yeah.
Welcome to Travel Tuesday. Tonight, whether you're joining a first-time group tour, first-time international group tour, or whatever, I have a few tips that might make it a better trip for you.
Yeah, we thought this would be kind of a good way the next couple of weeks. Just talk about first time people or first time international travelers that we're trying to just give you a little information on how to make that easier. But before we do that, I do want to get one thing, and that is
Like,
share, comment, and subscribe. Let us know where you're watching, like our page, share this video. We've been hitting our goal of at least 10 shares the last few weeks. You all have been awesome. So make sure if you get a chance to click that share button and share it on your page. We always really appreciate it. And your comments are always so important to us as well. Because here's the thing, we love getting your feedback. And tonight, since we're going to be talking about first time international travelers or group travelers,
international group travel
group travel.
specifically.
Okay, since we're going to be talking about that, we'd love to know from you if you have a specific thing that you learned on your first trip. Maybe you've been with us a couple of times. And if you would, just drop in the comments there, hey, the first time I went, I learned you need to do this, or
Right.
whatever, and share your tips with us because we have 3 tonight that we're going to share with
Right.
you that we think are going to be really good. So before we get to that, though, I do want to get in one other thing, and that is coming up on the 24th of June, we are going to be walking through the entire itinerary for Portugal. Now, we're going to Portugal in April of next year, and we want you to come along with us, all right? It's 10 days in Portugal, beautiful beaches, classic culture, architecture like you wouldn't believe, and food like none other, okay?
Food.
And our travel wonderful expert guide, Mike Sprudy from Colette, is going to be with us, and he's going to be taking us through day by day. You'll get a sense of what those 10 days are going to be like in Portugal. Thing about it is, you have to register. It's going to be a private Zoom that we're doing, and you can be part of it. If you'd like to go, message us. We'll get you the link out to sign up, or just watch our page, and it'll be on there too.
It'll be up on the website too.
Anyway,
You can always check the website.
That's our
Absolutely.
next big trip that we're talking about is Portugal. So you want to make sure you want to be part of that on June 24th. We're going to be doing that. So
Right.
be part of it. Okay.
Be ready.
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now, here's the thing tonight. Here's what we're going to do. We're focusing on these first time group travelers
Right.
because we have a lot of new people that are going with us to Italy. They're going with us to Christmas markets.
Yep.
By the way, we had an amazing weekend.
Yeah.
We had 8 new people sign up for our trips over the weekend.
Yes.
So thank you so much. The spaces are filling up on 2026 already. But we want to get you ready if you're a first-time international group traveler. And that's why we have three tips that we think are going to help you feel prepared. They're going to help you feel comfortable and kind of open you up to creating those memories that you're looking for when you go on a trip.
Absolutely.
So let's dive right in.
First off, let's bust the biggest myth out there. Group travel with us specifically is not, you don't have to be a tour person to love this. We don't walk around in matching t-shirts with our little lanyards tied around
Exactly
and
right.
a big bullhorn.
Exactly
and,
right.
You know, we're not that obviously a group when we're out and about.
By the way, that's our picture from when we were in Ireland in Guinness, and so yeah, we do want to bust that group travel myth. This is not your mom and dad's, if you will, group travel trips. You have a lot more freedom that you can do a lot of things. So that's the first thing we want to talk about. Go into a little bit more of what you mean.
On trips with us, the best thing about it is there's built-in friends, built-in people around. You never have to worry, oh gosh, do I have to sit by myself in the dining room or whatever.
Right.
we're there. There's always people there that you'll meet. You'll be able to sit with, have somebody to run around the corner or do something else. If you want to go see something that's not quite on our itinerary, there's always someone available and up for adventure.
And
So
here's the thing. If your table at dinner does get a little rowdy, Deanna may separate you. That's happened to me a couple of times. She's like, okay, tomorrow night you got to
don't
sit at a
don't
different
make me
table.
go to
Yeah.
assigned seating. That's bad. If we have to assign seats, that's never good.
But
Anyway,
it really is amazing what she's talking about is that it's not just this, one of us, but ours is one of us if you're on the bus.
Right,
And that's a
right.
whole different feeling because there's a little independence
There
in
is.
group
There
travel
is.
too.
So
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it. If for some reason you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm not feeling the tour today. I'm going to stick around here and do my own thing. That is fine.
Yep.
We absolutely encourage you to take off on your own. See what you want to see. Do your own thing. We'll be there at dinner and we want to hear all the stories, all the exciting stuff that you've done, even if it wasn't part of our group.
And
We like that.
that's what we always say. Just let us know, let the group leader, let the tour leader know, and you'll be fine to do your own thing. We've done that a couple of days where maybe a lot of folks are going to Cinque Terre when we were in Italy the first time. We decided instead to go up to Montecatini Terme, up on top of the mountain. Wore our butts out, but we decided that's what we wanted to do. So again, you have a little bit of that independence, but you're never alone. You don't have to feel alone, even though you're in a group. I think that's the best thing about it. So that's myth number one that we wanted to bust on that. And again, if you have tips when you've traveled the first time, things that you learned the first time you traveled, you let us know in the comments and tell us about it.
Even if it was only the lyrics to Sweet Caroline.
That's right. All right. Tip number two.
Tip number two.
Yep.
A little preparation goes a long, long way. Like, had we known when we went to Iceland that we were going to be eating fermented shark and schnapps, I might have chosen something different for that evening to do.
By the way, that was the night we had
that
fermented shark. That's why the front row is sitting down after having to sample that shark. But it was pretty funny. And by the way, we are going back to Iceland.
We're going back to Iceland.
That'll be a different discussion. But
so you don't have to be a pro at travel to go on these trips.
Yep.
We're all learning as we go along. Just a couple of tips I would say. First off is make sure your passport does not expire within 6 months of your travel.
Yep.
That's the biggest one. You have a passport. Everything else is doable or fixable.
We'll
figure the rest of it out.
Everything
but that
out.
passport is most important.
And even if you lose your passport, we've had that happen.
Yes.
There are ways to get
figure
around
that
that
out,
too. Yeah, absolutely.
The second thing I would say then is pack light. You don't need a giant suitcase or steamer trunk for these trips. You really don't.
She's going to get pushed back on that one. You wait and see. There's going to be people, wait, because we've seen some gigantic suitcases on these trips.
We're pretty casual. We are not, wear your tuxedo and your formal for dinner. That's not really our vibe. We're much more casual. Put on your tennis shoes and shorts and let's hit the road and see what we can find.
And I will say that it's not that we don't dress up occasionally. No. We usually have one dinner that we're doing. In Ireland, we did one night at the castle, and it was inside the dining room at the castle. And so we got a little more dressed up than that.
You wore your tiara.
I did. There is a picture of me with a tiara on. And if you know my hair situation, you know how painful that was. But anyway, it's just helpful that, again, you don't have to overpack. And that's one of the big things that we see when people are going for the first time is they like to overpack just a little bit. So we're going to help you with that too. We'll come back to that in just a few minutes.
The only other thing about just practical tips is you might learn a few phrases of the language where you're going. If you can say bonjour or, ciao, arrivederci, just makes things a lot smoother.
What does that mean?
No, if you don't know what it means, give it up. So anyway, it just makes things go a lot smoother. And then just remember what country you're in when you're throwing out your gracias or dankeschön.
Yeah, make sure they're in the right country.
Make sure you're in the right country.
Honestly, but that's the thing about Europe that we love too, is that people there speak multiple languages usually. So if you do throw out something that is not native to there, chances are they'll still be good.
I may have done that once.
All right. And tip number 3 tonight, again, for our first time group travelers who are going internationally with us, we like this one here.
Do we want to check and see what people are saying?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Do we have any questions before I jump into the last one?
Let's see. First of all, Allison says hello. Donna says howdy. Joanne says hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hi, Joanne. Donna says take
Take
less
less
clothes.
clothes.
She's right.
That's
She's
right.
absolutely right. Kay is on from California.
Okay.
Hi, Kay. Thanks for jumping in tonight. We appreciate it. Susie Gerber says leaving for France tomorrow for
Ooh.
9 days with carry-ons
That's right.
only.
That's right.
Well done,
Way to
Susie.
go. Way to go,
Well
Susie.
done,
Way to
Susie.
go.
Yes, that's awesome. Joanne says to try to be inclusive. Not everyone is outgoing.
Yep.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely.
I am, but not everyone
I
else is. The thing about it is we think it makes a pretty good team in that. Sorry for Austin.
Our
Austin,
dog, there's probably
sorry.
something in the yard.
There's something outside.
Something outside.
One thing about us is I am outgoing. She is not so much. So we think it makes a pretty good combination for somebody to
And there's
find their
room for
person.
both.
So.
There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room on our
Yeah.
bus for everybody.
She said, Kay says, I've loved the trips that we've done and I can't wait to go again. Can't wait to have you.
Absolutely.
Sandra is on from Falls of Rough. Sandra, thanks for joining us tonight. And if you have any first time things, what are you looking for?
I was looking for what Cindy said. Cindy said,
oh,
there it is.
Be brave and ask, may I join you?
Absolutely.
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 And I'll say no. No, I'm just kidding.
And I will say yes, of course. Shut up, George.
No, great suggestions.
Absolutely.
And again, if you have something that you would tell first-time international travelers with our group, we'd love to hear it. So yeah, keep your comments coming there. We appreciate it.
Yes.
All right.
Last tip.
Last tip.
Last
We're
tip.
doing 3 tonight, and our third tip is.
Our third tip is be flexible. Flexible, flexible, flexible. There's something on every trip where everybody benefits from being a little flexible.
Yep.
Your flight may be delayed. Your dinner
Louisville 10.
Louisville 10.
Yeah.
Your dinner reservation may not have gone through like you thought. You know, you might the gelato shop might be closed.
Wait, that was targeted at Karen Patterson. I know it was. When we were in Italy in 2019, Karen and I decided to go to what was the top-rated gelato place in the entire city. And when we got there, it was closed. And, it was. So, we went back the next day, but that night we were pretty sad. We were pretty sad.
Just be flexible and just assume that not everything is going to go according to plan. It never does. And just try and keep an open mind and be, lighthearted. Life's an adventure. That's why we're doing this.
Allison just put in the comments, she said, leave your American expectations at home.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, a great piece of advice.
Great tip.
And one thing that we always try to tell people for sure when they talk about all the walking and stuff to do is, again, the American with Disabilities Act is just that. It's Americans with Disabilities Act. If we get to Italy or we get to some country in Europe, you may not find the same accommodations that you do there, getting on a bus or getting upstairs to a hotel room or something like that. So just be aware that there are those instances. We always try to let people know that up front. And it's like, hey, we're going to be staying in a hotel that doesn't have an elevator, or the bus does not have a lift on it, or something like that. So that's actually really good.
And if you go along and you find, during our trip, our tour or whatever, that it's too many steps for you or it's too much. Feel free to let us know. We'll find you a cute little cafe or beer garden if you're whatever you're
whichever your preference is.
And I'm sure there will be other people happy to sit down with you. Not everyone is as big on all the historical stuff as I am. And some people really like to sit down and have like a coffee or a beer in the middle of the day. So
a little amaretto.
Don't worry about it. It happens to everybody all the time.
It does. It does. One of the interesting things to me is always when we travel, that time is different when you travel in Europe than it is here. It really is. Time slows down when you allow yourself to enjoy the moment. It slows down and you wind up going, man, I can't believe we got to see all of that in a week or 10 days, whatever the trip is. But you just get a chance when you live in that moment to really make some wonderful memories. And Cindy, I see what you said. She said, George will make sure that you're on time if you're traveling solo. I will do that. I will do that. I'm running a radio show for 50 years. I am about being on time, hitting that clock, let me tell you. So I will let you know that. But thank you, Cynthia. That's awesome. She says thanks for herding, too,
Sure.
George. We appreciate it. Herding as in sheepdog. That's usually
Well,
her.
that's
So,
my job. I'm
yeah,
the sheepdog.
she's
So
the
yeah.
sheepdog and all of
So
that. So anyway, those are our 3 tips tonight. Next week, we have, in just a moment, we'll tell you about next week's show, which continues this theme a little bit.
yes.
And we'll tell you all about that. But
But
before we go, hang on, I just want to make
Snapshot
sure.
sidecar.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing a comment. I think I got everybody here. All right,
Well,
Snapshot Sidecar. If you're wondering what this is, they're great picks from good picks from great adventures from folks that have traveled with us or follow us and send us pictures or whatever. And tonight, this beautiful young lady right here just did something that is on my bucket list. She took not one, but 2 Mediterranean European cruises back to back.
yes, I love that idea. I love that idea. We're going to do back-to-back trips one of these days, and we'll be gone for a whole month, and nobody will know where we are.
That is Allison Tim in Helotes, one of the first people to jump in tonight. She's traveled with us on several trips, and I got to tell you, she did two cruises back to back. She can tell you all about it. She can jump in or whatever and share more pictures tonight if she'd like. But we just wanted to share a few. This was in Spain, in Barcelona. A different view of the cathedral. Most of the time you get that front shot, but to see how massive this thing is
It's
just
huge.
incredible. So she was in Spain. She went to Pompeii. That was one of the stops.
I cannot
Which,
wait.
by the way, we're doing
We will
that in
see that
just
in
a couple of
September.
months.
We will see that.
But she went to Pompeii, which she absolutely loved. Another one of the, I don't know which one was the first one or the second cruise, but she went to Pisa. And again, you can see the tower kind of in the background and the beautiful, beautiful church that's on
That
the
tower
grounds.
is leaning out of the way, so it's not blocking the view.
That's right.
Sorry.
They knew it was going to be on social media, so they
Sorry,
wanted
that's
to make
bad.
sure that they were
That's
seen there.
bad.
And then this was just another beautiful picture she sent of a building. Again, I believe this was
Gorgeous.
in Spain. And I am not doing it justice by showing you only 4 or 5 pictures, but
She had great pics.
that was
Great
absolutely amazing. And they had some land, and then of course sailing and cruising on the 2. Yes, 2. What did I say about Greg Rail? Damn, I'm jealous. Yeah. So she had 2 different cruises she went on, and she posted a bunch of pictures. All right, next week.
Next week.
This is where we get to continue a little bit about what we've
Right.
been talking about tonight.
Next week, we're going to do another part of our mini course for first-time international travelers. This will be a little more generic, not quite so much on the group part. So if you're on your first time international trip, if you're going with us on your own or whatever, hopefully I'll have some interesting things about packing and about a pre-trip preparation, how to get yourself all ready to go.
Yep.
So you're confident, you don't miss a thing while you're out and about.
So a little bit longer than usual tonight, but we felt like there was some important information, and you all provided some great information about this tonight. Don't forget, click the share button before you get out of here, before we end this, or afterwards if you're watching it on replay. Click share. We want to get to 10 shares every week. It helps us kind of grow the message out there for those that are looking to travel with us or by themselves or whatever, but that love travel. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight. She said the church is leaning in a bit too. Yeah, that was back at Pisa.
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't know if you had been drinking before you took your picture, or was it wine o'clock? Or
thank you all so much for joining us tonight, for always being part of our show, and for sharing it with your friends. We appreciate it. We'll see you next Tuesday night, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, for 10-minute Travel Tuesday.